Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first talk of the autumn calendar with the lovely Victor is back again to talk to us about deal sourcing and deal packaging. It's definitely two phrases that I hear quite a lot being chopped and changed for each other. So Victor's going to explain the difference between the two and how you need to make sure you're sticking within the right lane. But then obviously he's going to talk about compliance, which is probably one of the most critical things for a deal sourcer or a deal packager. With no more ado from me, I'm going to hand over to the lovely Victor and we'll catch up later.
Thank you, Joanna. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for turning up on Thursday evening. Uh, some of you probably know me. Some of you probably seen me before talking on other talk where I was speaking about building relationship with estate agents. Uh, Today I'm gonna be talking more about deal sourcing, and there's a lot of it. So I'm gonna start as quickly as I ask a couple questions of you. If you can type in a chat, if you deal sourcer or new deal sourcer, just press one, and I want just to see how many of you need what type of information, so I can kind of focus on that one thing. If you can type number one if you deal sourcer, new deal sourcer, brand new. Okay. And if you experience deal sourcer, just do number two or pro.
It looks like we've just got the newbies. So
Okay,
people
that's fine.
brand new to this. So this is going
Okay,
to be super, super helpful for everyone.
so I'm gonna go easy. I'm gonna try not to overcomplicate everything. At the end, there will be a time to for questions. I'm gonna be happy to answer as many as possible. I will give you a contact as well if you want to get in touch. Um, there is also because there's quite a lot of on the slides. So I have downloaded my slides, so at the end of the chat, I will share through the chat, and later Joanna will give you the link for it if you need to download them again if you want to watch stuff. So coming back to the chat. My name is Victor. I'm sourcing for 2 years, learn it from scratch through multiple different uh, courses. I did few of them, quite a few of them quite expensive, few of them free. You can learn from different ways deal sourcing. Uh, so my goal today is to explain you how to start deal sourcing smart, uh, and what is the deal sourcing and deal packaging, because as much as is the same sector, they are a little bit different. There's slight different compliance in certain places. There is as well uh, different approach with the client. Um, Stay compliant, as Joanna said earlier. There's a lot of compliance to go with the deal sourcing. However, if you know what it is, it's not that scary. You can do yourself most of the compliance, even that when you, for example, doing the anti-money laundering, it can be overwhelming. But when you know things, it's easy. And how to build trust experience that at the end, I will give some examples and try to get you started. So my name is Victor. I'm 17 years. I have a 17 years career in gardening. I changed my mind about what I want to do for the rest of my life, going into property. Deal sourcing is something which actually I do enjoy it. I'm passionate about, and this is why I started my business 2 years ago. Not just to sell deals, however, to help new investors um, to get good deals, to and help other sources to um, do a good job. Because my experience in with deal sourcing before I started, it was not good. Mm, was lacking a lot of good stuff. So this is why I'm doing this talk, to help you guys to start it and see if you need any more help. Uh, so I'm founder of Amber Key. This is my sourcing business. Started 2 years ago with a lot of problems to start. However, over those 2 years, I learned quite a lot how to deal with deal sourcing on a daily basis, running that alongside of my day job, which I'm still doing. However, by the end of this year or beginning of next year, uh, I'm going full time into property. So that's how it is. I'm also working as the sales and lettings negotiator for Otium estate agents, and this is another part-time job that I'm doing along deal sourcing. Uh, I did a project recently with my partner Kathy in Stockholm-Trent that went pretty good. Um, for the last 3 years, we did learn with Touchstone, Premier Property, Property Sourcing Compliance, and few other did few small courses alongside. So that much about me, and we're starting with what you came for here. What is deal sourcing? Well, simply saying, deal sourcing is finding a property deal for the investor and passing it to them. Is quite simple. Focusing on identifying opportunities, negotiating the prices, or even negotiating the terms of purchase. Sometimes you can manage to negotiate a lease option or negotiate uh, different term, like exchange now, completion in few months' time, which it gives the investor to it gives the investor time to get the funds or sort out some legal issues with the property. Um, this work usually ends on exchange on completion. So you finding investor, you finding a deal, you negotiating, you sell deal to investor. That's it. Um, with deal sourcing, the best approach, well, by me, the best approach is to find the investor and then find the deal. This is easier for the deal sourcer than deal packager. And I think one of the main differences between deal package and deal sourcer is that the deal sourcer is a member of the power team. We're here to support the investor to find them deal, to connect with the deal with builder, to help solicitor to get the deal over the exchange. Um, Deal packaging is more hands-on. So in this case, you finding the deal, you sourcing the deal. You have to structure the deal, so there's more into it. It's not just uh, finding the deal and passing to the investor. You want to organize builders, traders to manage all of that. Uh, Deal packagers is doing more hands-off deals. So it could be for investor who doesn't have time or new investor. Um, Deal packages are used mostly by uh, less experienced investors, people who need a bit of guidance, for example, in strategy. Because we all starting somewhere, and we need to learn from others. Uh, Deal packaging do involve more responsibility. So if you source the property, you structure it, you need to know what you're doing. As well, working with trades, if you have your own team, that's great. If you're working with trades, you need to manage them. Trades not always coming on Monday to work. Someone else has to do the job. It is more responsibility. As well as more risk. However, there's as well greater reward for more risk. Uh, as I said, more reward, more complicated fee structure. Uh, Deal sources usually work on a percentage. They're working on a flat fee. With deal packaging, you got different structures. You can have all in one for a certain deal, or you can have just separate prices for different packages. So for sourcing is one price, for managing is another price, for doing work with your team, for example, will be another price. So the structures are completely different. Sometimes the deal sourcing structure of fees might not actually work with deal packaging. And as I said on the previous slide, this is the biggest difference. The deal packager needs a power team, where deal sources is a member of power team. So here you need your lawyers, uh, traders, uh, surveyors, anyone who can support you with getting the deal from A to Z. And journey can take from few months to a couple years. It's up to how big the project is and how you want to provide the service. So few key differences. As I said, lower risk, high risk. There will be different responsibilities, also different documents. Uh, Deal sourcer needs just agreement, NDA, a few forms to fill up. Where deal packager, it will need different agreements with clients, different agreements with traders, different agreements with JV partners who are helping them on doing the project. How process looks? Well, usually, uh, like myself, I'm working in certain area, so I know strategies work there. I know the area. I know where to go, where not to go. But for deal packages and deal sources, you work the same. If you deal packager, you're probably more locked into the area than deal sourcer. For example, I will work anywhere within hour away from where I live. However, deal packager, the further they go, the more work they making themselves. So keeping very small area probably will be even better. Lead generators for both sides the same. Estate agents, direct to vendor, auctions, uh, anywhere where you can find property, mostly from referrals, uh, anything, it works. Initial deal assessment due diligence, it will work differently for deal source and deal packager on those angles that when I assess the deal, I assess deal according to my client's numbers. So I will interview my client, ask what the cost built is, how it is, what cost he does, what the end client is, and this is how I work with the deal. I will assess according to my client's criteria. With deal packager, you have to assess the deal according to your criteria. So you know what cost is of the purchase, you know what cost of your team is, what managing cost, everything. You know that investor just provides the money and you have to manage everything. So as well, the fee will be based on the end value of the project, which you have to make sure that it gets on target. Negotiation offers. Uh, when I'm negotiating about deals, I'm negotiating on behalf of a client. Deals package will negotiate on the uh, criteria because they are the main person who's looking to create that deal. So the negotiation will be different, but it works similar. Then is one is package, one is just pass on and move on to another client or another deal for the same client. For all of us, we're maintaining really good relationship with the clients. You won't really work with the client for long term. The less expensive client is the one who stays with you for another deal. You don't have to spend time on networking. You don't have to pay for advertising, marketing, all that stuff. Yes, you need all those things. You can't just stop networking or marketing your business because that's not a good strategy. However, the less cost you implement in your business, then more profit there is. So keep a good relationship with the client, whichever strategy you choose. And compliance. Uh, this is going to take quite a bit, so please be with me. Both deal sources and uh, deal packages do need compliance. I will mention where is the difference. Um, for now, anti-money laundering is for most the same. Uh, this the anti-money laundering is required by law to for property businesses to be registered, and it is simple. Uh, However, there is quite a bit of documents to go with it. It's not just the agreement, there is risk assessments, there is procedures and controls. Um, HMRC is very on if it's on a if isn't on a paper, it doesn't exist. So even if you know what you're doing, you still have to have the procedure on a paper, for example. Um, ICO is the Information Commissioner Office. Uh, this is how to handle the data. Surprisingly, as deal source or the packager, we do handle a lot of data for the client and sensitive data. With the data we collect from our clients, if we lose it, someone can actually clone them as a person, purchase properties, purchase cars, take loans, credits, build businesses. Fake identity is quite scary stuff. So even that you just registered, do look into the what how to protect your business from losing that data, how to handle data. Not every software is good for it. Not every place to storage is right. So yes, there's a lot behind it. However, it's easy when you understand it. And as much as it sounds scary, actually, ICO is better than HMRC. They're not really trigger happy to give you a fine. They do help. And they got a lot of information on the website. Uh, in insurance, it will be a little bit different for deal sources or deal packages. Because professional indemnity, both sides need, public liability, both sides need. However, we, public liability is not required by law. I will suggest you have one, especially if you're taking clients for viewings to properties. Um, Estate agents do have public liability if they invite clients to the viewings. If you're going with the estate agent, you probably don't need that. However, if you're taking client to the viewing with the property of market directly to vendor, you need to have it. For example, your client falls into the basement, breaks a leg, well, they're gonna start chasing someone for money, and usually the building insurance doesn't covers that kind of accidents. So that can get you know hot. Deal package will need more uh, insurances. I didn't put any here because I'm not really sure what other insurances. It will be up to what services you're providing as a deal package. Yeah. So, for example, I'm sure you're gonna need developer insurance. You're gonna, if you got a team of your own traders, uh, you're gonna need some employees insurance. The best way to find out is to contact with the insurance broker, someone who knows that sector, and he can help you with the information what insurances you need, because insurance is one of the things uh, you want before you actually need it. The property ombudsman and property redress scheme registration. As uh, sourcing agents, we need to be member of either of them. Uh, One is they're both similar. One is for profit, one is non-profit organization. Both redress schemes are there to mediate between client and business. Uh, the best way is to always deal with the client in-house before going there, because that's just triggers extra fines. And if you get expelled from either of them, you're not gonna be able to run your sourcing business. So I don't know if any of you, for example, knew registering with TP or PRS. Both redress schemes have a code of conduct, code of practice, which you have to follow. I'm a member of NAPSA, which I'll mention later. I accept in my business code of practice from NAPSA, which tells me how I should operate as a sourcing agent, which is very handy to have some rules in a business. NCA is a National Crime Agency. This registration is for free. The for before you have to pay. Um, but this one is for free. However, only anti-money laundering registration, the HMRC requires you to be registered there. NCA is the agency where you actually uploading SARS, which are suspicious activity reports, and it's good to be registered straight away with them, just because they're sending you newsletter with information about anti-money laundering, with uh, any uh, information about crime is happening. So scams and anything it can affect your business or your business of your clients, which we as agents working for our clients, we need to support them in any way we can. Um, client money protection. This is only if you as a business take any deposits or you managing funds for client. So, for example, if you're taking any deposit upfront, 50%, 100% of deposit, which um, some deal sources do, you need to have a client account because that money actually do not belong to you till you sell the deal. So even if you're holding that money, you can't use it. That money can't be in your trading account, your business account. If you deal packager and you taking funds up front from the client to use on a project, I will assume that you need to have a client account as well. If you're using your own money and then client you pays you back money afterwards, that's completely different. That's money is already yours, goes in straight to your account. Deal done. Uh, Documents fitting a purpose. Uh, After going through different trainings with different training companies, I've seen a lot of different templates. Um, Templates with 1 or 2 pages usually are not fit for purpose. They mostly given by education centers to show you what it should be. Um, However, the proper documents are most of the time much longer. Uh, with this, some of the documents you can write yourself if you happy like terms and conditions, agreements, uh, risk assessments. If someone knows how to do it, it's not I purchased my own one, and even that they already were ready. I had to adjust quite a lot templates to my business because none of the templates actually fit straight away into your business. You have to sit down, read through several times, see how you work, if the actually documents reflect the way how you're working. Because even the template with the terms and conditions, it might not work for you the same way as it working for someone else. Um, Before I started deal sourcing, and I was working with deal sourcers to find projects for myself. Uh, I had sent to me a lot of NDAs, terms and conditions agreements, and the many of them didn't even said about properties. They were just simple, cheap templates from internet, uh, and I wasn't feeling comfortable to sign them. So make sure if you got a deal sourcing business, deal packaging business, you want to have really good documents which will reflect your business and protect you, same as your client, because that's very important. Investors check. As we know, because of anti-money laundering, we have to do a lot of checks. When we need to know clients, KYC, proof of funds, identity checks. Um, it can get complicated sometime if you got the written the procedures correctly for your business. You just follow step by step what need to be done. Um, and it does help in that case if you got a good template for it from sourcing templates. Uh, Knowing your client, HMRC does give some guidance. Most of the times I don't understand what they're talking on the website, so it took me quite a while to understand what it is. Uh, Knowing your clients is not just about, I meet them in person. Like, for example, Zoom call with your client is not meeting them in person. You actually have to physically be in the same place. And that's part of the KYC and risk assessments, which everything is interconnected. Same with the documents. Handling a physical document of your client, it counts. Getting a photocopy or photo from the client, it doesn't count anymore for either or identity check or KYC. Um, the same with the proof of funds. You need to know where the money comes from and how it is. It can get overwhelmed. However, you always can ask another source, someone who will help you. There's a lot of materials on the internet talking about that stuff, and it, there's always some way to find out uh, about all that stuff. There is as well, I'm getting quite a lot of questions from people about uh, FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. The other two names, NCLA and DMCC, which the DMCC stands for Digital Marketing uh, Competition and Consumer Agency. Sorry, I have to read my notes. With NCLA is National Trading Standards Estates and Letting Agents Team. They couldn't take any shorter name. We don't need to be registered with those institutions. However, we need to be aware of what they're saying. For example, FCA is responsible for financial uh, part of the businesses, like brokers, I don't know, accountants, not really sure what they're doing. However, I know they're very sensitive to how businesses are advertising investments. For example, if you advertising with the words like hot deal, last minute deal, or it will be going soon, you can get on FCA radar. They don't like that. There are guides you can download from FCA websites about how for example, social media adverts should look, how to not to cross the threshold of advising about investing. Um, for example, when I'm talking with the clients, I'm always talking to them about investments from their point of view. As I said earlier, I do get the criteria from the clients, and that's how I'm speaking to them. I do not tell them this is a good deal because um, you don't want to cross certain thresholds. Uh, the reason I'm mentioning the MCC and Sala is because couple years ago, Ansela did uh, publish a document which states what minimum information has to be given to a client for from estate agents. So there was quite a lot of rush about that, and estate agents are changing the way how they, for example, they giving what the information they're showing. However, this year, what happened, the digital marketing competition and consumer agency decide that is their side of the business. So Encela withdrawn their own rapport, document, and we're waiting for this institution to agency to give us a direction about it. The reason I'm mentioning it because as a deal source, we're in a sector of estate agency, letting agents. So we need to know what information we need to give to the investor. For example, what it was in Encelat guidance, it was that you need when you promoting any type of the property deal, you need to give the full postcode, which in many WhatsApp groups I seen deals given by other sources just with the three letters of the postcode, which is the postcode district, and this was not enough according to that document. So even if that we don't have to be a part of we're not controlled directly by either of those three agencies. We still need to be aware what they want from the businesses and how not to cross the threshold of uh, being on the bad side of the books. So that will be all about the compliance. Sorry if I bored you to death. It is an extensive subject, and it took me quite a long time to wrap my head around it. However, if you want to run profitable and save business for you and for your client, this is one of the subjects I can help you with, grasping how to handle it. Another part of deal sourcing or deal packaging is co-sourcing. There's a lot of misunderstanding, I think, about that. For me, co-sourcing is when two parties are working at the same level. So two or more sources working on one deal, and all of them are equally compliant. So they have all the documents, they have insurances, they equal parties. Uh, I would say if someone is referring to a property, this is just referral. They're not involved in the deal in any way. I'm using referrals from my sources, like for example, plumber, builder, trader, a broker. That all referrals. They're not involved. They're just passing me a number or name of the vendor, and that's how I'm doing. If I'm working with a sourcing agent, I would request from them all the details and check how the business is compliant. Um, Obviously, different businesses work on different levels. So for myself, I will see what procedures they have. We have a conversation, and this is how
It's
it
good.
works. You building a relationship with another source. Uh, Co-sourcing can fill gaps with the investor list. Someone is better at sourcing deals. Someone is better with sourcing investors. It could be even that you have you like me. I'm in London. There is quite a lot of investors around, but some of them like to invest in properties up north. Uh, I don't source anywhere else except in my patch. I don't believe that any deal sourcer or deal packager should source nationwide. Um, you so using another sourcer and finding the deal for your client, it is better option in this way. Uh, uh, and same as with your client, you want to have a good agreement uh, and work, as two professionals. Obviously, there are risks with co-sourcing. As I mentioned, only one source is compliant, and at this point, if you the only one compliant source and the deal is wrong, something is wrong with the deal, the other source is not compliant, all blame goes on you. So HMRC, PRS, TPO, none of those agencies uh, do accept something like, oh yeah, someone was not compliant, it's like banks. They're gonna go always for someone with the money. They're not gonna chase someone who is poor. Miscommunication with investors. If you ever go sourcing with someone, make sure that all parties are on the same page. It's very easy to work with someone who doesn't understand the criteria of your investor, and they bringing you the deals that don't work. It can end up with frustration and wasting of time. Disputes about fees. If you ever go sourcing, make sure you have a clear agreement with all fees and everything in agreement before you even start working together. Um, it's better to have a sour conversation to start than actually fall apart middle of the deal when your client is upset about all of it. Common mistakes to avoid. Sourcing without a registration or insurance. You really don't want to do it. From few sources I know, for example, HMRC Anti-Money Laundering Department, they can find you anywhere if you're sourcing without of AML. They, I'm 100% sure they're using AI to do that. Recently seen a video where accountant was saying that HMRC HMRC uh, whole body do have 55 million checks on individuals about how we're getting money, where we're getting, where we're transferring, what we're doing. They know what all most of the stuff is electronic. They know if you get £10,000 in your account and you're not working, or someone paid you, they will find out where. So be very careful about that. Another thing is when you set up a limited company with the SIC code for estate agents, which I can't remember exactly what it is right now. Company house sends that information to HMRC, and within few weeks, months, you can receive the letter when they saying, "Well, we can see you trading, but you're not registered with the anti-money laundering department supervision." And this is already fine of, I believe, £1,200 straight away, because when you set up your limited company, HMRC assumes that you fully compliant, and it's really hard to find evidence uh, that will go, against the case that you wasn't trading. So be very careful with that, please. Um, Selling deals that are not deals. Sometime when you find a deal, it might look really good. However, it might be something wrong for investor you're working with, or deals which are look good on a paper, not always are good in a real life. This is why some when I was looking for deals for myself before I start deal sourcing, almost 99% of deals they didn't stack. I could just look at the spreadsheet, and the deals were missing fees, there were missing costs, the legal paperwork. There was lots of missing stuff, and if you want to have a really good deal, you need to provide all the information to the client. Even if it's better information, like red flags, they still need to know, because they need to make informed decision about the deal. And as property investors, we actually do look for red flags sometimes, because we want to get a better price. And some people just find deals with the red flags. They want problems to solve them, because they know they can purchase the property for better money. Uh, Not understanding when the deals become package. If you overpromise too much, so you will say that you find a deal, but you just deal sourcing, and then you will say, "Well, I can manage that for you," but you have no idea about managing, or you don't have time to manage, or your team is not fully set up. You don't have all the traders. You're looking through the internet to find traders. You don't know them. You can't guarantee the right finish in the end. It can cost lots of money and stress for you and for the investor. So um, make sure you know what strategy you're using. Overpromising. Yeah, do not overpromise too much, even if it's the deal sourcing. Uh, it's best to uh, keep real information for an investor. Say that it might take 6 months or a year to find a deal for them if it's complicated deal. Then says you're gonna find them in 2 weeks' time, and they just waiting and waiting, and calling you non-stop. Not working professionally. Yeah, we want to be professional in what we're doing as the deal sourcer, deal packages. So how to build experience? As a new deal sourcers is probably doubting how what to do. Lots of people asking you how many deals did you sell. You probably asking others how many deals you sell. Which as a new deal sourcer, this is the worst thing you can do. Ask someone else how many deals you sell, especially another deal sourcer, because it's not that you putting them on spot to uh, you know, they might be as new as you and they didn't sell any deals. So both of you, not feeling good in the conversation. But what you're doing for yourself is that you counting someone else's deals, not your own. Start small. Focus on strategy and area. Learn one strategy, maybe two. Research your area where you want to deal source. It doesn't, if you, it doesn't have to the place where you live. It could be a place where you went to uni. You spent 5 years in Cambridge. If you know the area and you know every street because what you were doing between lecture, just walking around and you were interested in a town, you know how it is. The towns change, every month, but it's not, you know, you can still know what is happening. So if you're traveling or your family lives somewhere else and someone can help you with the viewings, you can choose different strategy as long as you understand the area and you know what strategy will work in it. This is better actually than um uh, how many deals you sold, especially when you're starting as a fresh deal sourcer. Knowledge. Sorry, I went ahead of my slides. So yeah, knowledge is the best. The know strategy from A to Z. Know how you can purchase the properties. What the best strategy of purchasing works. How investor can work with this strategy. Even experienced investors look at, they do like a good uh, tips and tricks if it works. The same with area. Not every investor lives in area. Not everyone knows every little bit. There is things like 5, 10, 15 years plans for councils for different towns, villages. There are local authorities which are planning ahead. If you know what's happening in your town, on your street, and you know what development will be built in the future, or how else the investor can monetize the investment in certain area, this is a way how you can get experience about and how you can sell yourself as a deal source, a deal packager to investor. Working together with other compliance sources, co-sourcing. If you're fully compliant and you're happy to put extra work, help out someone to um, work with them, shadow them. That's probably a better word for it. It can work for you. You can learn from someone who already did sell the deals or it has better experience. Yes, you might work on the same area. However, just if you're next to each other in two smaller towns, one on your patch, one on their patch, you can always find information, good knowledge from experienced sourcing agent. Offering help to investor. Not always you can uh, work for money. If you brand new, you have to property, you have no idea about how to do refurbishment. You might be happy to help an investor or on the project just to get experience. You don't have to do 40 hours a week. It could be just, come on the site and help them, as well, shadow them for a little bit, ask questions. You help them with sorting out, uh, I don't know, gas engineer for a boiler to install in the on the project. They're gonna spend a day or taking you around the project and telling you what they're doing, how they're doing, why they're doing. That's good experience to learn the strategy you want to do. Networking with others. Um, One of the things I learned in property, it was a networking. I never did before. Now I'm networking at least once a week on the weekends. Any opportunity I can find to network with other people, talk about property, talk about the business. because it's not just about property. Other businesses can help you as well. So going to the business networking, it can help as well. Um, uh, I'm very lucky being in London. I'm spoiled for networking events from different um, providers like PIN, Premier Property, um, Papadoms, there's quite a lot of them. However, there are local networking events to every town. The big towns like Manchester, Liverpool, they got as well quite a few of them. If you're in a smaller town, you might be traveling. I do sometimes spend an hour on a train or even drive hour to or more than an hour to places to network. Um, I do travel around the country. If I'm lucky to get a holiday, I do go to the property networking in a place where I am then. And always act professionally, even if you unpaid. This is very important because your reputation goes before you. So the more you help people, the more you work professionally, you um, people will start referring you. They will see you as someone who they can come and talk to. And I think this is a very important. Um, Learn from mistake. Try not to repeat them. Uh, yes, it sounds simple, but it's very easy to overlook. If you if you're calculating the deal and something doesn't work, um, ask yourself why. Why this doesn't work. Maybe a different strategy will work. Just trying to have a different point of view, even when you're speaking with the client or client with the new lead. If the conversation didn't go why, sit down, have a think about that, how to uh, look for it from different angle and learn on what you're doing. The more you do, the faster and better you're getting. So how can I help you? Uh, for the last 2 years, I learned quite a lot about deal sourcing. I did for the in the last 12, 18 months, I help a lot of people to go through the compliance. Um, I help new deal sources to set up businesses, give them idea how to uh, get your head around all this interesting stuff as well is uh, helping to focus on a strategy or area. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. If you need help, I'm happy to have one-to-one with you and help it. You can find my services on my website. As well, if you sign up to my newsletter, you get a 30% discount. And this is how I can help you. However, this is not the only help. As I mentioned before, I'm a member of NAPSA, National Association of Professional Sourcing Agents, which gives the support to new sources, to existing sourcing businesses. Um, they not giving they're not hand holding support. They will have one-to-one to you. However, you have to put all the work in and get everything done. Um, on the slides, there are affiliation links, so you can join just NAPSA with the membership or purchase the course. I did the course, which includes as well a full pack of um, documents specifically for deal sourcing. Even that they done by the deal sourcing business for deal sources, it still takes a few weeks to adjust everything. They're very comprehensive documents, and it does help when you can go back to NAPSA and, for example, ask what else you can do. So this is a pretty good way of starting your journey. Um, I will really appreciate if you could use those links. And all this doesn't finish on just learning from courses. Do um, uh, do read. This is just a list of few books I choose. Some of them to develop yourself, some of them to help you become a better seller, negotiator. Uh, all those skills uh, we not always carry straight away. So the more you read, I love Audible. I can listen to Audible over and over to those books. So I'm not even asking you to read them. I'm asking you to study them because reading one's book it not always gives you all the information. Reading the over and over, it will give you better understanding of subject the book is telling you about. So yeah. And that will be all. This is a context for me. If you want to have a chat, you can. If you want to find out more about the services, I can help you with your businesses because it's not just for investors; it's for the other deal sources as well. You can book a 15 minutes call on my website and see if that fits your criteria. Um, and yeah, I'm happy to have a chat about that stuff. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you, Victor. That certainly is a lot of info
Yeah,
to go through. I hope that didn't
yeah.
overwhelm everybody. I haven't seen any questions in the chat, so guys, please do pop your questions in there, and we can get those answered by Victor. So, in the meantime, Victor, I've got a couple that I know have sort of popped to mind for me, and things that I've heard other people talking about. Um, so I know if you aren't compliant and you start recommending deals to people, you can get yourself and your investor into quite a lot of trouble. I remember hearing, I think it was one of the guys from DNA Finance, sort of talking about mortgage companies, refusing to lend to investors because they were using non-compliant deal packages or deal sources. Is there any sort of brief info you can share with people about, why it's so important to be compliant?
Uh, well, same as if you will use solicitor. Solicitor has to be compliant. They as well doing the anti-money laundering checks. They got other uh, schemes they sign up on. I can't even remember what they signed for, but um, what we were saying about the brokers not wanting to work with some of the deal sources is because yes, lenders they don't like deal sources because they overpromise sometimes and uh, if they're not compliant and something goes wrong with the deal, well, only compliant parties getting blamed. So someone who is not compliant, it can be blamed even that there is still some crime as a working as a not compliant agent. Lenders can break the whole deal just because you're not compliant, and that obviously will upset all the parties involved.
Awesome, thank you for that. Um, with regard to getting compliant and making sure that you've got all the boxes ticked, is there any sort of support that you can go to? Is there like a company? So, for example, the example we were using earlier was you can go to a formation, you can set up your own limited company, or you can go to pay a formation company to do it all for you. Do you have those options with regard to deal packing or deal sourcing?
Yes, there are some options on the market where are companies who do compliance for you. However, I will advise to be very careful how they do it, because first of all, some of the companies they do take money from you on a monthly basis or in a lump sum to give you the compliance, and they it might give you their own compliance. And if you don't employ by them or you're not the branch or franchise, that compliance might not actually work for you. So there were cases which were introduced to us from NAPSA, or I spoke with few people who were paying for compliance through third party. And what happened when they actually contact HMRC anti-money laundering supervision? They said, no, you never were registered with us, you're not compliant. And this just triggers a lot of hassle, and it could trigger a fine, especially if HMRC will find you on their own. Um, and they are very trigger happy to give fines. There are some other companies which actually do compliance for you, and they might do better job than people who they know what they're doing. However, those companies are usually charge a lot of more money than actually that compliance costs. And what happens there? You outsourcing that process to third party. They do that for you because they know how to tick the boxes. They telling you, oh, just fill up the 10 minutes form, which usually take 20 minutes. You do that. They put that data into the websites to register you. Everything is fine. However, your responsibility as a owner of the business, as a director of the business, you have to understand every single point of the compliance. This is not something you cannot outsource to someone else. Even if you have officers, employees who look after the compliance part, they do documents, they do keep the business up to date with compliance. You, as the owner, you have to understand it. You have to be actively aware what is happening. This is as well with our partners. For example, if you doing this with your partner, it might be your brother, wife, friend, they have to be aware of compliance as well. If they directors of the business, they have to be aware because you a person of significant control. If, for example, you as a director and you just doing the business. However, your husband, wife has 50% or more than 25% of shares in a business, because that's what you want them to have, for, different reasons. They have to be aware of compliance. They have to have a anti-money laundering training every year. They need to have a data protection training just because the person of significant control. So compliance is very important. Um, I'm not sure about kids under 16 if they can be shareholders in that scope. You need to look for advice on that from someone who understands more share structure of the businesses. Um, However, compliance is something it goes every year. So, like this is my compliance month, very happy month. I'm spending a few weeks of renewing my uh, anti-money laundering supervision, ICO, TPO, everything. And I have to keep up to date with it. So every year I have to actually adjust my anti-money laundering policy, my bribery policy, which sounds funny as a person, one person in business. I have to have bribery policy because that's what HMRC wants. As I said earlier, if it's not on a paper, it doesn't exist for them. So you have to, as a owner and director of the business, you have to understand how the compliance works, what the rules are, everything. So outsourcing this to a third party, yes, you're gonna pay more. They're gonna do that for you. However, you still have to be up to date. So sorry for a lengthy answer, but this is
Yeah,
very important.
yeah. No worries. Thank you for that. Um, so earlier you mentioned, as soon as you set up your limited company, obviously HMRC know from the SIC codes that you are going to be in the estate agency world, and they're sort of going to be on the lookout for you for your AML registrations. So, but obviously, setting up your limited company is one of the first things that Touchstone encourages you to do, and then it can be quite some time before someone decides, what type of business they want to do or to get around to fully doing their compliance. So if somebody's sitting watching this and has already set up their limited company, has put in the SIC codes for deal sourcing, deal packaging, but they're not compliant yet, what do you recommend that that person does right now?
Um, if you got a great name, if you want to keep it, it's very simple. It costs only 50 quid to set up your business on, limited company on a company house. It takes, I can't remember, 20 minutes.
If that, yeah.
It's very fast.
Hmm.
Put in dormant.
Yeah.
That's the simple answer. You keep the name of the company, you got the business running, so you can just click it on a website and make this trading business already. However, if it's in dormant, no one can implicate that you're trading. Um, that's one way of doing it. The other is, you still need to set up a business, limited company, and do all the registration because that's how the registration works. It's not on you, it's on a business separate entity. You as a director, you might be an officer of like an anti-money laundering officer in a business, person of contact for certain bodies, but business is the one which is the main holder of the um, uh, memberships, the compliance. So you can't use this for someone else. This is why I mentioned about those third-party businesses that they hold the compliance for their own businesses and they sharing you a share of it. It doesn't work this way. It has to be all in one. The best, just put in dormant or open the business and put different code which doesn't need compliance. And when you're ready to start, the business of a deal sourcing, you have everything done. Just put the code for the estate agency.
Awesome. Thank you for that. One of my questions, and Mark has just popped this in the chat as well. What's the rough
There
cost?
was so sorry, Joanna. There was one
Oh, sorry.
early from Amy Knight about how much NAPSA is.
Yeah, I think someone shared the link to the sign up
Oh,
just
okay.
underneath that. So thank you, Steve, I think, for signing that. So
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
that.
you, Steve.
Um, yeah, Mark's just asking, how much does all of that cost? So your AML, your TPO, all your insurances. What's obviously I'm guessing there's bands that you can go for different prices and things like that. But roughly, what sort of costs that people are going to be looking at?
Um, I was because I was just going through my renewal. So, for example, I didn't set up my business. I did answer this question just this week to someone else, and the number was £1,191. That was exactly number.
£1,000, yeah. And is that an annual fee? You said you've just done your renewal
No,
for all of those. No?
no. This included the company house,
Okay.
extra setup fee for property ombudsman. I got a higher amount of cover for my insurances because, first of all, I'm in London. My deal starts from almost £300,000, not £50,000. So that's as well something to look into it when you're setting up business and where in the country, what type of deals you're gonna be doing. If you're doing deals of, 10 millions, probably £250,000 cover will not be enough. You need more, so that's more cost. So I will say from the top, uh, anti-money laundering is £300 per business plus £40 per person of significant control. Directors, shareholders over 25%. Um, that's a cost for them, and this is on a setup. Annual, I think is I paid for £100 just yesterday. I also paid £323 for the property ombudsman yesterday, so it was a very painful day for me. Um, this doesn't include £72 of account setting up fee, which you're paying up front. Uh, yeah, you're paying upfront 72 quid plus £323 as a membership. But the only 323 is every year. Uh, ICO is £52 when you're paying straight away. If you set a direct debit, is £47 every year. Insurance, as I said, I got professional indemnity and public liability. My bill this year was £357. My covers are higher than the minimum covers for required. The public liability is not required by ombudsman or PRS. And the minimum cover for professional indemnity is £100,000 for now. That will grow to 250 minimum in the future because all the costs are going up, and 100,000 might not last uh, long enough to get cover. So this is a minimum for now. I think I don't want to stretch the numbers, but my professional indemnity is two-thirds of my insurance. Is that the ratio?
So if I've done those math correctly, it's about £1,300 to set up and probably around 900 to £1,000, depending upon what your insurances are per year to keep those memberships
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Let me mention that as well. PRS is a little bit cheaper on a membership. This is why lots of people chooses them. However, please do your own due diligence on both register schemes. They work differently. As I mentioned in the slides, one of them is for profit, one is not for profit. They have different um, level of advisors. TPO has FCA regulated advisors, the better quality, I would say, advisors. PRS is a little bit on the lower end, and they don't deal with all type of businesses. So, or deals, I will say, in our case. So I can't remember which one it is, but one of them will not go over 20 million deals, or some ceiling on the numbers. So please do your due diligence and choose the right one for your business. Do not choose because of the price, because it might not work for you.
Indeed. Cool. Thank you very much, Victor. I don't think there's any more questions come in. I'm just going to quickly just share my screen. I think can everyone see that now? Yeah, lovely. So I just want to talk very quickly about what marketing I recommend you have as a deal packager or a deal sourcer. Let's move you on. There we go. So minimum brand requirements, really, you've got to have some logo and branding, definitely business cards, have physical as well as digital for when you're out with that all important networking. How you present yourself really is one of the most important things for a deal packager, deal sourcer. As Victor said, you need to make sure that you're coming across as a professionally set up business. You do need that website, so detailing who you are, what it is that you do, what you're, if you're niching in a particular area or a particular strategy that you can help people on, how they work with you. So, that sort of process is really detailed for them. And your website must also include all of your compliance details, but be very, very careful that you do not include logos for people like the ICO that you are not allowed to. So I feel foul of that, and Victor caught me out, so I'm just passing that knowledge on to everyone. So just be very, very careful. Elevator pitches. So this is how you announce yourself. So, when you are at a networking session, often they will have sort of a 30 seconds where you can stand up at the front and say who you are and what it is that you do. There is nothing worse than standing up there and then suddenly your mind goes blank and you kind of go, well, I kind of do this. That's not going to get you clients. You want to be able to enunciate and clearly say who you are and how you can help people, and those people will want to come and find you afterwards. So I recommend there's sort of 2 or 3 levels of what we call elevator pitches for different types of conversations. You have those prepared in your arsenal, in your own level of speech, so that when somebody asks you that type of question, you know exactly how to respond. I always recommend to have an investor presentation deck ready to go so that, either use it as a credentials presentation. So if someone says, tell me more about you, boom, you can just send them straight your PDF around that. But also when you're presenting a deal, when I first started with Touchstone and started working with the deal sourcer, I was literally being texted screen grabs of Excel spreadsheets with no explanation whatsoever. And I immediately said, I do not want to work with this person because I want to clearly understand why that person thinks this is a deal. And that's why your compliance is so important, is because you are recommending a deal to someone, but it's how you present it to yourself, to your client, as to whether they're going to want to continue to work with you. You can have a number of leaflets printed up. So whether this is you're going to do door drops or drop leaflets off with estate agents to say the types of properties that you're looking for. And I do recommend organic social for you guys. So this is showing that you are active in the property world. You should be going out and viewing properties, going to networking on a regular basis. So it's easy to just take a quick snapshot. I'm in this property, I'm in this networking session, pop it on your socials, and it just shows someone that you are active. A website could have been created 3 years ago, and you might have not done anything on your business since. Your social media is very, very obvious if you are not posting on there. So, you don't have to post every day, once or twice a week. It just shows that you are active in the property business. If you need some help, I am here to help you with Happy Friday Marketing. I've been working in marketing for 30 odd years now, and I've now set up my own consultancy, Happy Friday, to help new startups and entrepreneurs with their business. I've got 2 offers, done with you or done for you. Done for you is obviously the traditional route. Done with you, if you've got something that you're working on and you just want to run it past someone, then that's where the done with you service comes in. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper than the done for you. So you are more than happy to book yourself in for a free 30-minute chat with me. We can talk through what your strategy is, what your niche is, and what marketing is required for that, and any help that you might need. I can give you some advice there. So before we end tonight's call, just conscious of time, we've got 3 booked calls up and coming, and I'm working with lots of other people at the moment to try and get some dates and diaries. So we had an amazing call with Jason Jonathan from Meadow Rise Developments back in July, where they were talking about how to find a builder. So especially those guys who are going to do deal packaging, really understanding how to work with builders is really, really important. So if you didn't see that, please go to that URL at the bottom, scroll down, and you can register to watch the video for that from that original talk. But the guys are coming back, they're going to talk about contracts, payment schedules, and risk protection. So as Victor just talked about there, if you are going to be doing the packaging, if you are going to be managing refurbs for your clients, really being able to manage that process from end to end is really, really important. So making sure those contracts are great. Is important for you guys. So that is on Monday. That's our call next week. Normally we do Wednesdays, but these guys prefer a Monday night. The week after, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to use AI to create social media. I watch a number of videos out there. They go, just click here, and boom, you've got 50 posts, and it's, excuse my language, a total BS. So it is not that simple, but I have been working on a process that hopefully will help you guys to use AI a little bit more to try and speed up the process for producing your social media assets. Dave is going to be talking to guys about his rent to SA journey. So he's, I think, got 2 or 3 properties now. So it's really nice to hear from someone who's still quite early on in their journey. So all of those talks you can register at happy-friday.uk/property talks. So we've done Q&A. So just want to say a really big thank you to Wiktor. This is his second talk with us. So if you didn't catch his talk on how to build relationships with estate agents, again, you can watch the video on the Property Talks website, on my website. And big thanks to Wiktor for coming back a second time.
Thank you, Joanna, for inviting me, and thank you everyone for turning up.
My pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. All right. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.